Hey, it's Fionna Gossling from Royal LePage, and here's what happened in Burlington real estate in January 2024. So at the beginning of the year, it's always a bit tricky because this chart here is blank, so it doesn't really give us much um, context. You can see here we had 144 sales over all property types of residential real estate, so condos, townhouses, and detached homes. There were 263 units available for sale. And so we only had 1.8 months of inventory. Our inventory at 263 is down, which in theory should put upward pressure on prices. You can see though that the average sale price average across all of those, so keeping in account condos and detached homes, was 969,000, and the median sale price, which is a more accurate depiction of what's going on, was down to 909,000, and it was taking about 45 days on average to sell. Now, for context, if you remember that 144, we were up from December, but December is always a slow month in real estate. And we were kind of not in average, but in median and volume comparable to September, October, November. So what I am seeing in the market is things are starting to pick up. Buyers are starting to jump back in. We're seeing more interest, more showings being booked on listings, particularly in the lower end of the market. And also the very, very high end of it is totally done. Those things seem to be selling a little bit as well. But it feels like buyers are starting to jump back in. There's talk of interest rates staying where they are and starting to go down soon. And there's a lot of buyers that still want to get into the market and have been trying to time the market, which is almost an impossible thing to do. So when we look at where we are this year over last year, now remember, December, January is still kind of slow in real estate. But our number of sales were up 13% 2022 over 2023. Our listings were down, so there's less inventory out there for buyers to choose from. Our average sale price was up a little bit by 3%, and our days on market was way up. It's taking about 12, 13 more days on average to sell this January than it was last January, but you are getting a little bit more money. And then when you break down those averages, obviously it is important if you're buying, the type of property you're buying is important. So a detached home on average in Burlington is $1.1 million. And there were only about 62 sales that happened last month. So there's only about 1.8 months of inventory, which means if nothing new came to the market, it would take 1.8 months to sell everything that is currently on the market. Townhomes are selling very well. There were 50 sales in townhouses. It is very unusual to see the number of detached and the number of townhouses be so similar in terms of number of sales. And I think that speaks to affordability. There's only 1 month of inventory there, so it's definitely a seller's market for townhouses and frankly detached homes if properly priced. And the average sale price there is $887,000. And then condos, there's 3.2 months of inventory, and the average sale price there is $719,000. If you had specific questions or wanted to know what was happening in your neighborhood, wanted an analysis of the best place to buy, where I think there's the best opportunity for future growth, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in your neighborhood or where you potentially want to be. Talk to you next month.